There's a quiet pain that comes from being invisible, from having your struggles dismissed by those who should care the most. This story is about a young woman named Maria and her grandmother, Abuela Rosa, who lived in the shadow of poverty but found solace in each other's company. What they didn't expect was how a single day would challenge everything they knew about love, sacrifice, and the fragility of life. Maria was 23 years old, juggling 2 part-time jobs to support herself and her aging grandmother. Abuela Rosa was her rock, a feisty, loving woman who had raised Maria after her parents passed away in a car accident when she was just a child. Though their small apartment was modest, it was filled with warmth. The smell of Abuela's homemade tamales, the sound of her humming old Spanish lullabies, and the laughter they shared despite their hardships. But life wasn't easy. Maria often skipped meals to ensure her grandmother had enough to eat. Their apartment was cold in the winter, the heating unreliable, and the landlord unresponsive. Yet Maria never complained. She believed as long as they had each other, they could survive anything. One morning, as Maria was getting ready for her shift at the diner, she noticed Abuela Rosa wasn't humming like she usually did. Instead, she was sitting by the window, her hands trembling slightly as she held her rosary. "What's wrong, Abuela?" Maria asked, kneeling beside her. Abuela gave a weak smile and patted Maria's hand. "Just tired, mija. That's all." Maria felt a pang of worry, but brushed it off. Abuela had always been strong, always bounced back, no matter what. But as the days turned into weeks, Maria noticed her grandmother's strength waning. She was eating less, sleeping more, and her once bright eyes seemed dimmer. One evening, Maria came home from work to find Abuela struggling to catch her breath. Panic set in as Maria called for an ambulance, her hands trembling as she held her grandmother's frail body. At the hospital, the doctor delivered the news with clinical detachment: congestive heart failure. Abuela needed a procedure they couldn't afford, and medications that were well beyond their means. Maria felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. How could she save the woman who had given up everything for her? She tried everything, working double shifts, selling what little they had, even reaching out to charities, but it wasn't enough. One night, as she sat by Abuela's hospital bed, Maria broke down. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "I'm so sorry, Abuela." "I'm trying, but it's not enough. I don't know what to do." Abuela, weak but lucid, reached for Maria's hand. "Mija," she said softly, "you've already given me more than enough. Love, laughter, a reason to wake up every morning. You've been my miracle." Those words, though comforting, felt like a dagger to Maria's heart. She couldn't accept that love alone might not be enough to save the person who meant everything to her. Desperate, Maria turned to something she had never considered before: sharing their story online. She created a video, raw and emotional, where she poured her heart out. She talked about her grandmother's sacrifices, their struggles, and the unfairness of a system that let people like them slip through the cracks. The video went viral. People from around the world were moved by their story. Donations poured in, small amounts, large amounts, even messages of hope and encouragement. Within days, they had raised enough money for the procedure and the medication Abuela needed. But it wasn't just about the money. The outpouring of love and support from strangers reminded Maria that even in the darkest times, there is light. Abuela Rosa underwent the procedure, and while recovery was slow, she regained her strength little by little. Their story didn't just save Abuela's life. It inspired Maria to start advocating for others in similar situations. She began volunteering at food banks, helping raise funds for families in need, and sharing stories of those who felt invisible. Maria and Abuela Rosa's bond grew even stronger through their ordeal. They realized that while life could be unbearably hard, love and resilience could create ripples far beyond what they imagined. Their story is a testament to the power of human connection, the kindness of strangers, and the strength it takes to keep going when the odds are stacked against you. It's a reminder that sometimes asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of courage. If this story touched you, share it. Let's keep the ripple of kindness going, because everyone deserves to be seen, heard, and helped when they need it most.